Hi guys, this is my sixth video. I want to thank everybody who's been watching my videos and left me messages and comments. Thank you guys. I'm doing my best to to bring some awareness as much as I can, as little as as it is. I want to do my part and make sure that this so-called phenomenon, this um, crime against humanity is publicized as much as it can be. Um, there's little coverage, on this subject matter, on the target individual. There's a few documentary here and there on Vice. There was the one, but the focus was more on the mental um, state of those target individuals, which is that's what the program is designed for. So the subject, since we're were used as experiments, so the subject, the target individuals, when they try to express what's happening, they sound like they're delusional, paranoid, or schizophrenic. And so most of those documents or whatever media outlets cover, usually, and I'm talking about the mainstreams or semi-mainstream outlets. They usually kind of cover the mental aspects of those targeted individuals. They rarely, use any expert in the matter. So I've been kind of, looking at what media outlet would cover this as fairly as it can be, because it is not a easy, it's not a topic that's easily accepted. So, and like most target individuals, I think we all at some point try to send an email, a letter to a big mainstream media outlet and never got anything back. I did, especially early on when when things just happened to me, when I realized what was happening. But like I said before, I didn't know much about it. I just explained what was happening, and it was, to me, with the best language, whatever vocabulary I had at that point in regard to what's happening to me. But I just realized that something like this will, you know probably will not be covered by the mainstream media, the New York Times, and and the Washington Post. Those media outlets will probably not cover this subject. At least they won't be the first to really properly cover this. And when they do, if I think New York Times has at some point, but they're really focused on like I said, the state of mind of the subjects, reaching out to them. So I think a a show or a podcast show like a that has a vast audience that's perhaps mainstream enough, would be the Joe Rogan Experiment. In his past shows, he always, you know, most of these topics are different. They're unique. They're not the typical topics. The hosts are not the typical hosts, and I think he gives a chance, for as long as the guest is somebody who is respectable in a sense or has some credential. And if there's one show, one media outlet that we should really try to push, to touch on this topic, to to host somebody who can talk about it, would be the Joe Rogan Experiment. That would be a start. And I think that if we email the show constantly and try to reach out to them, and we ask that somebody like a Dr. Robert Duncan, who has the right credentials, who's respectable, who has worked in the CIA, who's an engineer, who has worked on different tools, and who can talk about the subject, knowing that that's not a easy topic to understand, to digest, or even to accept, um, would be a way to kind of push this topic and to have people to able to digest it easier. Um, I mean, it will be understand that at the media talking about, especially breaking this and talking about the fact that non-consenting human experiments that is meant to push the subject to harm themselves or harm others, that is using remote neuron manipulation weapons. Um, I think it's called the remote Neuro Influencing technology. I'm still working on my lingo. And that is using organized harassment, GangStalking, and other tactics to isolate the subject, so that subject quickly lose themselves and either kill themselves, which I don't condone, or kill others, which I don't condone either. I think a show that could provide fair assessment, provide fair time to have an expert. And when I mean an expert is, we can. I mean, I'm one of the subject, but if I had to talk about it in a coherent way, it would be hard because I am not, I can only explain what's happening to me. I couldn't explain properly, the technology that might be used, and I'm in it. So to have somebody like a Dr. Robert Duncan, who has the right credentials, who is not a target individual, but who is an ally and who wants to talk about this specific subject, would be would be a way for the public to digest this subject easier. He's a good public speaker. He knows the subject very well. He worked on the tools. He can be more technical, and he understands that this is not an easy subject to understand, especially if you're not involved in it. Um, so I'm asking everybody, you know, let's do our part. I'm doing my part. I'm trying to do my part as long as I can, when I can. Trying to bring awareness. Obviously, my influence is limited, but let's all try to send emails to a podcast like the Joe Rogan Experiment and ask this podcast, this show, to host somebody like a Dr. Robert Duncan or Dr. John Hall, somebody who can, who has written books about it, who has maybe worked with this technology, who can speak technically, and who has the credentials to talk about it, um, to be on the show. I mean, that will be a start. That will be a beginning. It's a show with a vast amount of audience, and it's somewhat mainstream. And I think Joe Rogan tends to at least give a fair chance to every guest to talk about their subject. And although he gives his opinions, as long as this outlet, a platform where an expert in this matter can talk, express themselves, as long as it's needed to be, and be heard by many. So please, guys, all the target individuals, please all send emails requesting the Joe Rogan Experiment to host Dr. Robert Duncan or another expert in the matter, such as Dr. John Hall. let's really try to push that somebody, one of our expert in the matter, one of our allies, somebody who is very comfortable talking about it in a way that is easy to digest, um, is on a a platform where there's millions of people watching. So my request for all the viewers and the target individuals specifically, let's do our best to have somebody on the Joe Rogan Experiment, such as Dr. Robert Duncan, John Hall, be part of the show and talk about what's been going on for years in the United States of America, where non-consenting human experiment has been going on, and the goal of this experiment is not only to take advantage of the subjects, but also push that subject to their death, and using remote neural influencing weapons and direct energy weapons, and utilizing GangStalking, organized harassment, and other tactics to isolate the individual, the subject, so they can take advantage of them, and that subject ends up harming themselves, and or harming others. And yeah, so guys, let's all do our part. Like I said, tell your story. You have a voice. Do your part, and let's send emails and letters to shows like the Joe Rogan Experiment, and ask them to have guests like Dr. Robert Duncan or Dr. John Hall. Let's all do our part while we can, if we can, and if not, if it's not for us, maybe for the future target individual, maybe to stop this. You know, let's end this. Let's try it. Let's do our best. Let's be part of best. Let's be part of something that can stop this crime against humanity. Okay, so thank you again for watching me. Please leave me any comments. I'm still in the learning phase. I'm still in learning the lingo. Um, and yeah, I appreciate your time. And please, guys, stay strong and be safe. And God bless you all. Thank you.